You're not fooling anybody, Bender. The next screw that falls out is gonna be you.
Eat my shorts.
What was that?
Eat my shorts.
You just bought yourself another Saturday, mister.
Oh, I'm crushed.
You just bought one more right there.
Well, I'm free the Saturday after that. Beyond that, I'm gonna have to check my calendar.
Good! Because it's gonna be filled. We'll keep going. You want another one? Say the word. Just say the word. Instead of going to prison, you'll come here. Are you through?
No.
I'm doing society a favor.
So?
That's another one right now. I've got you for the rest of your natural-born life if you don't watch your step. You want another one?
Yes.
You got it. You got another one right there. That's another one, pal.
Cut it out.
You through?
Not even close, bud.
Good. You got one more right there.
You really think I give a shit?
Another. You through?
How many is that?
That's 7, including the one when we first came in and you asked Mr. Vernon here whether Barry Manilow knew that he raided his closet.
Now it's 8. You stay out of it.
Excuse me, sir, it's 7.
Shut up, Pee-wee.
This boy and girl, coming home from school, greet their dad as though they are genuinely glad to see him.
Hey, Dad, look. Bedpans.
As though they had really missed being away from him during the day and are anxious to talk to him.
Dad is great. Give us jobs again.
This is the time for pleasant discussion in a thoroughly relaxed mood.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Whoops.
What?
Hey, what's up, Dad?
What have you been watching for TV and movies?
Well, I'm not that late.
No, well,
kind of.
Could be.
If we would have started on time, we'd be about there.
We fooled you. Although Damien farted twice. You totally missed it. You had to wait.
Yeah, you totally.
No, he did it when you missed the other one.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you missed it.
Wow, dang it.
So you have to wait for the outtake show on that one. Yeah.
You should do it. Make sure you do it live.
Bag's like, oh, that microphone's sensitive. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Damien, if your farts are entertaining now, I couldn't imagine when you were like this giant fat. What they were like.
All right, let's get going. What's up, dads? You're listening to Dad's Getting Grounded, the podcast for dadshideout.com. I am your co-host, Jeremy, and this will be episode 85, hopefully sounding better than 84 did. With me tonight, we have Pound on his keyboard, Dan.
Are you scared? Well, don't worry, honey. If they could get a washing machine to fly, my Jimmy could land it.
Mechanic?
Nah.
Or airplane?
Actually, Damien did a quote from her. Actually, it's from Apollo 13. I was watching that with the kids. It was Jimmy's mother, Jim Lovell's mother.
We also have Damien.
Hello, what have we here?
That's it?
That's it. No iconic.
I think Christian just fell down the stairs.
Christian's pounding on his keyboard.
Yeah, I have
no idea.
I don't know. Do you know?
That hunk of junk has saved my life more times than I can count. She's the fastest ship in the galaxy.
Oh, gosh.
Really?
Is it really that Star Wars?
Who says that?
Lando. When he first...
when he sees Leia, he's like,
Leia,
oh,
yeah.
What have we
Hello,
here?
what have we here?
Okay. You got us on that one.
No one has ever said that in a movie ever.
we also have Christian, I think. He's getting set up.
I think we forgot to ask him what he's eating. We can't.
Oh yeah, Christian,
probably
what are you
he's
eating?
doing.
What are
he's
you
probably finishing his pizza or his sandwich.
Can you guys hear me? Everybody sounds really weird for some reason.
We can hear you now.
Hello.
Yes.
Ooh, what have we here?
I had an Arby's chicken cordon bleu.
I think, Damien, you had sandwich.
Sandwich.
Yep.
Sandwich it is.
I had pizza. But so what's your quote there, Christian?
Yeah, because I'm so ready. Let's see.
I mean, you have had a month to think of one.
The line must be drawn here. No farther. No.
First contact.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I just pulled that out of the the Moth archives there.
That works. It wasn't Marvel, so we'll take
That's
it.
right.
See, I'm spoiled. That's all I think of whenever Christian starts doing his quote. Is I'm like, what Marvel movie is this?
Man, I was having all kinds of trouble, though. You're lucky I even got on tonight.
We are lucky.
We are so lucky.
We are the luckiest podcast crew around, so we're glad you could make it. Thanks everyone for coming back for another round. Christian, do you need time to get settled in? We can skip you.
Skip you.
Where did babies come from, Dad?
Shelly.
No, man, I'm good. I got all kinds of stuff to talk
All right,
about.
fill in our void. Come on.
All right, we're gonna do this super quick since we're starting late. But hey, do you remember when I hit the deer a little over a month ago?
Oh, the one that was keeping pace with you, running right beside you?
Yeah, that one. So I'm leaving work and I noticed my car's making a rattling sound from the hood. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird.
Deer's still in there.
Exactly. So when you hear a noise, you're like, okay, I'm gonna pop the hood and see if I can see exactly what's making the noise. Well, I go to pull the thing and I go up front and my hood doesn't come up. So once again, a half-aid job. I don't know if you recall me telling you about how the bumper was just kind of hanging on. When I picked the car up the first time, I pressed in on the one side of the bumper and it kind of burped out on the other side. Well, now I never bothered to lift my hood because, Jesus, I'm not a car mechanic, not to check these things. So I drive by there and they're nice enough. They're like, oh, yeah, hold on, we'll take care of this for you. Just, shoddy workmanship. If you
just grab a screwdriver and just pry it open for you? Is that what he does?
If you have time to do something, do it right the first time. That's what I'm saying, boys and girls. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh, they had time. There's a reason they're working at a damn car dealership. Come on. Jesus.
Here goes our car dealership listeners. Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, you're welcome. There goes our 2 people.
Here goes our Ford sponsorship. Thanks.
That's right. And share real quick something that happened. We had a sweeper salesman come over.
That's a thing?
Last week. It is a thing.
Still a thing.
Was he driving a DeLorean that went 88 miles an hour? And
he wasn't.
I got to see the pictures of this one.
Is this somebody from back in your glass selling days who still had your address?
No.
To come find you.
No, the wife went to a county fair and put in some information, and they contacted her and said that she had won like this air freshener thing or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I said, you watch and see if somebody doesn't show up to deliver it and give us a sales pitch. And sure enough, that's exactly what he did.
He spilled her all over your carpet. It's like, no, wait, it's okay.
And we did get like a $70 little air purifier, humidifier thing out of it. But I had fun with the guy. It was a Saturday. There wasn't anything else I was doing. Like I said, Dan's laughing because I shared all the stuff with him. He pulled out the sweeper and was doing stuff, and I asked him if I can't. What exactly did I say? Something effective like is it powerful enough suction to rip your pecker off?
Yeah, I think that's what you told him.
Yeah, and he was just laughing, and I'd hold up my phone and I'd record him. I'd look right at him and say stuff, and he, of course, wouldn't say anything. So, I had a good time with it. And don't get me wrong, man, this sweeper, it's not just a sweep. It's a vacuum cleaner. It's a shampooer. You can use it on linoleum and hardwood floors. I mean, it is the creme de la creme, the Rolls Royce of cleaning products. And if I had $2,500 to spare, I might have bought one. Yeah.
Wow.
You can make payments and only be like $58 a month for
the rest
5
of your
years
life.
or whatever.
Can you put some wheels on it and let that be your daughter's car?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told him. I said, buddy, if I had $2,500, I'd be buying my daughter a car right now. Not buying a stinking sweeper or whatever.
Jeez.
But, we had fun with it. And it's just, and don't get me wrong, man, it's one of the rainbow sweepers. I don't know if you've heard of that brand. Yep. I guess it's the newer Kirby or whatever. I mean, if you hit the lottery and you just have to spend money, I guess it might be worth buying one. And the guy was like, well, you just admitted yourself that this is the best sweeper that you've ever seen. Why wouldn't you want to use it? Because it's $2,500.
Duh.
Yeah.
Because I don't entertain royalty on a regular basis. My carpet don't need to be that clean.
Yeah, exactly, man. I buy a $60, $70 sweeper from Amazon every 2-3 years, and when it breaks, I just buy another one.
And shouldn't that guy be peddling his wares in like the rich neighborhoods, like where there's mansions, or to like?
No,
maybe
they get
like,
Roombas to do that.
Yeah,
stuff.
they don't go to the county fair.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
he thought that maybe he thought that you were a maid for a rich guy, and you would be like, "Oh, master, I need you to buy this vacuum cleaner for me."
I don't know what he thought, but he showed up, and I was wearing pajama pants and no shirt. I'm like, come on in, man.
Come on in, dude.
Yeah, he was probably like, "Oh, I'm getting this sale."
He's probably like, better watch my cornhole going
Yeah,
into this house.
he thought he was getting something.
He was like,
Start
he was
scratching. Hey, how's that doing blood?
He's
Just
like,
asking for a friend.
He's like
Totally.
Judge Reinhold in Ruthless People, where he's like, "Who cares how much it is? You can finance it." And when they come to take your body away, they can bury you in it. they can burn your ashes and suck them up with this vacuum cleaner.
And I guess finally, it's a sad day in paradise. Sold my Donkey Kong last week.
Are you
Whoa.
cleaning the house?
Yeah.
You're selling more than you're buying.
Yeah, I sure am. You know, it's just one of those things where, you know, how can I say it, man? I'm poor. You know, I got bills. All kinds of stuff's going on.
Did you sell it to buy that $2,500 vacuum cleaner?
That's exactly what it is. I traded Donkey Kong for a rainbow sweeper. You figured me out.
And all of the rest of your cabinets are nice and clean.
That's right. They are. They're so clean, so fresh, and so clean. But no, that's pretty much it. At least what I'm going to share on the podcast.
All right. Well, we have missed you, and we're glad you came back, and it was worth the wait. So, Damien, I'm going to request that you go next because I personally, and I know my wife, and I know we had several concerned listeners, and you have daughter update here, so I want to hear that.
All right. Well, today my wife took my daughter to the doctor to find out what the heck is going on with her with this funny image on her brain. And come to find out, I don't know the technical term for it. Oh, my goodness. It's some crazy, like, penile sapphire.
I don't think it's penile. I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's some crazy word. But what it is basic normality on her brain. And where it's at, it's preventing the spinal fluid from going to her brain. Well, it's not. I say that it's not preventing it. Okay, so that's the good thing. But it's big enough. It's a couple of centimeters. I want to say my wife said it's like 2.5 to almost 3 centimeters big, and so it's almost blocking all of the spinal fluid from flowing, which would be really bad. So, marked now, they have the MRI done, and they're going to go back in another 6. Abnormality is not growing or anything like that. But as long as her spinal fluid can flow around that into her brain and back or whatever it's got to do, he said that she'll be fine. He also told us that if he is more of she should have no more seizures. If she has a seizure, we have to immediately double up her medication. And my wife said if we end up doubling up her medication, we might have to get her on different medication because this one only goes so high. The doctor also wants to be told every time she has a seizure, whereas the other doctor was just like, yeah, whenever you come in, just tell me how many she's had and how long they last or whatever, describe them to me. This guy's like, if it's the weekend, you need to call us on Monday. If she has 2 seizures, if she has them back to back, then she needs to be taken to the emergency room. And certainly if it goes more than 4 minutes, she needs to be taken to the emergency room, and you need to notify me and all this stuff. So we're like, great. My wife said that she was okay. She managed to do good, better than she thought. But what she didn't realize was she was expecting my daughter to be like me, which is just stone-faced and not have any reaction. And instead she said my daughter broke down and started crying. So she had to hug her and, console her that she's okay. And my daughter, I think she told somebody like she's broken or something. So she's having a couple of little issues, I guess, with it, but she's over them. I mean, she's already at my mom's for the weekend, so it can't be all that bad.
So you cut out just a little bit.
Okay.
You said that they're going to keep an eye on it, or they're going to go in and do something with it, or
No, they're just going to keep an eye on
Okay.
it. They're going to. She goes back in 6 months and gets another one, and they just want to make sure it hasn't grown any bigger. Which I actually had a guy at my work who has some type of abnormality in his brain as well, and he's going on we're going on 12 years knowing him, and he doesn't have seizures, and nothing's wrong with him. It's just this. And it's not cancer. It's not a tumor.
Good.
It's
Okay.
it's just the way I guess he described it as like a cyst,
Mhm.
like inside the brain. So there's no reason for them to go in there as long as it doesn't grow. If it starts to grow, and especially if it starts blocking all the spinal fluid, then it sounds like they're going to have to do surgery.
So that would, is it like, and I know that you may not know the details, is it to an easy place where they can get to it, or is it like way down deep in there, or is it on the outside, or?
Yeah, from what my wife said, it's on the outside,
Okay.
and it's on like the outside lobe is what she said.
Okay.
So
Well,
I guess that is easy, but
if they have to do something, don't take it to the guy who worked on your dad's stomach. So just we don't need that, because she'll never be able to fit in a hat.
who knows? They'll probably close up her ears. Went to that guy.
Well, I appreciate the update and you sharing that with us, and I know that I've been and my wife have both been wondering, and I'm sure, like I said, I know we got some feedback from listeners too who are wanting to know, so appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, it was good to finally get some answers to that after so long.
That was a long 2 weeks, I'm sure.
Right, but it was truly not that bad.
It could be worse, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I told my wife too. Like, it could be worse. It could always be worse. So.
All right. Well, what else has been going on?
And then the only other thing is today my son finished up his last of his driving school and went and got his permit.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah. So my son now has a permit, so when I'm bringing him to go to his final class, he's like, oh, I'm kind of worried because we do a test today, and if I don't pass the test, I have to do this all over again. I'm like, oh, you'll be fine. Just remember what your instructor told you. It's not that hard. It's, just follow the instructions. So I tell my wife that, and we get off of work and everything, and I'm like, Tristan had his test today for his driving. You should ask him if he passed. So she asked if he passed, and he says no.
Mm.
And she's like, well, what happens now? And they're like, well, the instructor's going to get with you, and I have to go back and go to his schedule. So my wife's like, great. Well, then we get home, and he's got like this big old grin on his face, and he's like, I was joking, I passed. I'm like, like the whole time I'm driving home too, I'm thinking, oh, what's it gonna take with this boy? And then like, this is scary. Like, he needs more practice, but he failed his driving test. Like, I don't know if I want him in my car driving around, because I don't have I mean, for one, right, my insurance has got to cover it, not the schools. And two, I don't have a convenient little brake on the passenger side to where I can just stop the car on a dime when something's about to happen. Like, I'm relying on him to stop when I scream at him, stop! So thank goodness he passed. I feel a little bit better about letting him drive now, the car when I'm in it.
The
He's
permits.
play a joke on you. He's going to be driving and be like, hey, Dad, should I stop? Hey, Dad, should I? Oh, I knew it. I knew I needed to stop. Go ahead. It's okay.
So permit in your state, does that mean he can drive as long as there's a licensed driver up front with him?
Right.
Okay.
Right. He could drive as long as there's a licensed adult in the car. Yeah, it's sad. I'm a cop, but I think as long as they're licensed, there's no age on it. Like, it has to be a parent or guardian or anything like that. Just a licensed driver.
Cool. All right. Well, congrats to him.
Yeah, so good on him. I got a driving kid. Y'all watch out if you live in Louisiana.
The trees.
And that's it. Nothing's really been going on.
All right. No news is good news then.
Yeah.
Dan, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay.
Over the past like 2 or 3 months, ever since my wife's grandmother died, she's been heading back to where she lived in the weekend to kind of deal with all of the stuff that's left behind, going through papers and all that stuff. All this stuff finally came to a head when we had the estate sale there. So I was the hired muscle, so I wasn't paid to think that week or that weekend. So I was just kind of there moving stuff. So I moved stuff around, picked up all sorts of heavy stuff.
Pick things up and put them down.
I pretty much it. It was pick things up and put them down, moving huge dressers into cars that really wouldn't fit the dressers, and for older people that couldn't lift the dressers, so I'm putting them into the cars, going, how the heck are they going to get it out of there? But
not my problem.
Right, exactly. Well, it was in one of them. I actually had to take a dresser out of the house and put it into our car, and drive it to the place. Take the old dresser out and put it on their porch and put the new dresser in where they wanted it. So it was kind of a big moving day. So I was doing all that, but finally we can kind of put a close on that. And that's been kind of what I was like Mr. Mom every weekend for a while, because my wife would go back and it was just me and the kids all weekend. But little story on the way back though, we had a first real road rage incident that I have witnessed that is kind of very potentially dangerous to everybody, including myself at that time. We were driving back, and it was about 10 o'clock at night. We were coming back, and I was on 70, and in the left-hand lane, get passed by two trucks, one little one and one big one on the right-hand side. Little one comes up, passes me, and comes up in front of me and keeps going. The big truck comes and almost clips the front end of me and just goes. And, of course, I'm like, wow. I'm not getting angry. I'm just like, wow, that guy almost hit me. So I just kind of back up, and I see these two guys kind of going at it for a while. I mean, they're big trucks right on his butt. Finally, one truck gets over one lane to the right, and the other big truck goes all the way around it and gets in the front of him. And apparently, this guy had two floodlights mounted on the back of his cab because he flipped them on, and he left them on for 2 seconds, and he blinded the guy behind him and me, because I was about maybe 100 yards back, and it was blinded me enough where I was like, holy crap, that was very startling. I could imagine what it was right behind him. And the one guy was like swerving and it was like right in front of me. Ended up trying to get around this big truck. They kept on switching back and forth. The kids in the back were scared because they were watching this, and my wife is flipping out. She's like, oh my God, they're going to kill somebody. And I'm just sitting here driving going, okay, if this guy starts to flip, I need to start slowing down. Trying to keep us, away from the whole thing. But the kids are freaking out in the back. Are we gonna die? Are we gonna die? So, first incident that I've actually witnessed myself. You see all those dash cam videos on YouTube as people road raging out and people flipping out and doing all sorts of weird stuff. Never really think it happens, but it does. You have any experience with that, Damien? Since you're a cop and all.
No, never personally had any road rage.
Never witnessed it?
No, never witnessed it.
Jeremy, I would ask you, but you don't leave the house. But
I probably had like one or two complaints on it, but it's like, okay, they don't have the license plate. It's just this person driving aggressively, on the road, and you go look for them, and you can't find the car. It's already long gone by the time you get the call and get out there.
Right, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just surprised me with the floodlights. I mean, he really blinded the guy, and
that's funny that he had those, because there's no other purpose for that. I mean, I guess unless he's like a hunter, or I guess for parties and stuff where you want to back up and then turn them on to light up a big area. But other than that, like, there's no reason to have floodlights facing backwards.
They were bright. I mean, they were super bright.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, does he throw a lot of cake parties out in the field somewhere?
Yeah, I might. So I don't know.
Them? Or is that just for people who piss him off and he gets in front of and blinds you with the light?
I don't know. But either way, it did the job. But anyway, nobody got hurt, so that was good.
Hey, Dan, I'll just real quick. I sort of had a road rage incident actually happen to me.
Was it in Arby's?
It wasn't in Arby's, no. Where the hell's my chicken bacon and fish?
An extra cheese on my cheddar.
I can't recall. I mean, we've been doing the show. I've been on the show about a year and a half or a little.
Has it been that long?
something like that. But anyway, I can't remember if I ever told the tale of when I was leaving my home and my super redneck neighbor jumped in front of my car. Did I ever tell that story?
Are you trying to sneak a Chard Blaster tale at the beginning of the show again?
No, I'm not.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm
no,
sincerely
you have not told us that.
Okay, well, that will be tonight's tale.
Okay.
Then.
Oh, a teaser.
Oh, a precursor.
Oh, just the tip.
No, we didn't get one last week, and now you're teasing. I think he needs to give that one and a unique one at the end.
All right, I'll do that. I don't want to hijack Dan's time.
That's all right. I got a little bit left.
We'll do that. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Well, why don't we do it since it's on topic, and then I'll. No, never mind. So last.
God, now who's the tease?
go take
rubbing your leg. Yeah.
Go take the cold shower, man.
Take me home.
So we got a little bit of a weird sickness going on around the house. My daughter was kind of sick. She was complaining about her stomach hurting for like 3 days, and come to find out it was just something passing through her system really, really slow. So she was complaining, my tummy hurts, and for 3 days you kind of wonder, do I need to take her to the doctor, or do I need to take her to the ER or something to kind of take a look? But no, finally she went in the bathroom, took a big old dump, and came out with a smile saying, I feel better. And my son has got plantar's warts on his. Oh, I hate them. He's got 2 on his right foot, and he's got 1 on his left thumb, right on the tip of it where the nail is. So I've like, when he comes down to play video games, I have to we're duct taping his hand, his thumb, so he can come down there. But warts suck on kids because they don't complain about it, and you don't notice them because they got socks on and stuff, and you know, all of a sudden they jump on you and with bare feet, and you look and you go, oh my God, what is that? And so warts, apparently they're pretty common in kids. So check the soles of your feet there. Your kids get warts yet?
No. My wife had a wart for the longest time. But
we had a story about you freezing it off.
Don't let Damien take them off.
I found that. Those things cost like $17 to freeze it off, and then you have to hold it on there for like, it said maximum 40 seconds, Damien. It did say maximum.
Well, my wife ended up buying a better one than the generic brand, and it killed it like immediately. She ended up doing the one with just the Band-Aid that you put on it.
Yeah.
Has like some kind of ointment or whatever.
It's got the salicylic acid, I think it is. So.
Yeah, it worked. It killed it in no time.
Yeah, so we've been putting that on him, and since we don't have the Band-Aid, we just basically use a piece of duct tape and wrap it around it, and just to kind of cover it, and that's it. Yeah, that's all I got. It was just warts and road rage.
All right, Christian, you gonna stick your RB stories in here before I go?
All right. Yeah, absolutely. This is probably about, 12 years ago, where I used to live. I was going to work, and I lived up. There was a 1-lane road living up on the little mountain that I used to live on. So if someone was coming up or down the hill, they had to wait, and basically take their turn because, again, it was just a 1-lane road. So I'm getting ready to go to work. It's when I was managing the video store. And I'm turning my car around, and I'm starting to go down the hill. Well, my very redneck neighbor who lived next to me saw me outside, who I've never really gotten along with. He was working on his truck. As I'm backing up to then turn around and go down the 1-lane hill, he comes walking out in the middle of the road, effectively almost jumping in front of me and blocking my path. And so, of course, I stopped the car. I'm not going to run over anybody, and I'm sitting there, and he's mouthing, carrying on. So I roll the window down. His name was Kerry, Kerry. And just a quick, this is the redneck jambalaya that I was surrounded with. Their names were Kerry, Cole, Honker.
No.
Yes.
You're making that up.
No, I'm not.
I'm going to believe it.
I don't know what his real name was, but everybody called him Honker. There was one of them.
Honk.
He had a big nose, so real ingenious, right? They called him, hey, Honker. Another guy was named Polecat. Another guy was named Alfie. His name was Alfie Johnson, Alfie. What the hell kind of name is that? So anyway, this is the main reason why I moved, because this was just a hole. Oh, sorry, Dan, you're gonna have to bleep that out. So
it's Jeremy this time, man.
Oh, okay. So anyway, this dude jumps out in front of me and I roll my window down and I go, Carrie, could you move? And he responds by saying very eloquently, you fat motherfucker. And I, what? And he starts
eloquently.
Yeah, he starts approaching my car, so I put it in park and I start to get out because I'm not going to, sit in my car where this guy can, bust my window or whatever. And I get out and he gets up and he's like right up in my face. You know that alpha male thing like UFC fighters do where they're literally like nose to nose? Like he gets that close in my face and I go, Carrie, what is your problem? And he repeats, you're my problem, you fat MFer. Your face looks like effing Hamburger. And I could just smell the alcohol on his breath.
You should have kissed him.
So I told him, I said, you have 2 seconds to get out of my face. And that's when he just starts, yeah, what the effing. So I take my glasses off and I set them on top. Yeah, I set them on top of the roof of my still running vehicle. And as I turn back, he tries to take a cheap shot at me. So I grab him in a headlock. I stick my leg between his legs and I twist. And I basically, at the time, I was about 275 pounds. I twist and I land on top of him with all of my weight. So I'm laying on top of him in a headlock and I'm restraining him. And I'm like, what is your problem? You need to calm down. Well, he gets a hand out from under me and he shoves his thumb into my eye and I hear an audible pop. And that's pretty much the last thing I remember as I then beat him into unconsciousness while I was laying on top of him. His 70-year-old father comes running out of their trailer. And this is Cole, by the way, Cole. He comes running out. Stop! You're killing him! Get off of him! And I beat the side of him. And I go back to the house, and my eye... I've got pictures I can show you guys.
Did you tell him, now you look like Hamburger?
I don't remember what I said.
I hope it was something witty.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. It was probably like, what are you doing? But, I go to the house, and my right eye is completely bloodshot. And I told,
out of its socket. Bring.
Yeah, I tell my wife, to call the police, and the cops show up and, they take my statement and then they go next door and they take his statement or whatever. And the cop comes back and cops are kind of lazy in this state. And this is the exact response the cop gave me. The cop goes, well, man, we see you and we see him. And are you sure you want to file charges against him? And I said, yes, he attacked me for no reason whatsoever. So, long story short, I we filed charges. We had to go to court like 3 months later. I made him pay my optometrist bill.
Even though actually pay it,
absolutely he did. Even though he's a poor piece of that lives in a trailer, I made him pay my damn eye doctor bill because I thought my eye was severely damaged.
Did you get
yeah.
the Arby's? Did you get beef? Did you at least get a beef and cheddar out of all this? Maybe some horsey sauce, something.
Was the judge like, oh hi, Carrie?
What'd you do this time, Carrie? But no, what was funny was like a week later, I was coming home from work and he was standing on my front porch. So I'm like, oh, like I'm like, ding ding, motherfucker, and I come up to the house, and as I get out of the car, he can see, like, the intent in my eyes. I get out of the car, and he goes, whoa, man, hold on, man. Hold on.
Don't take your glasses off.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, man. Hold on. Truce, man. He's like, I just wanted to apologize. He's like, man, I was drunk because my truck was broke down, and, I lost my job last week, and, my wife and I had been fighting, and I saw you, man, and I'm sorry, man. I'd give you the shirt off my back, man. I'm sorry. So that's basically it. He tried to talk me out of, he's like, man, May, you should drop them charges, man. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Man, you should stop drinking there.
Yeah, so needless to say, about a year after that, we moved away. I had to get the hell out of Dodge. So there you go, Damien. I hope you're sassified at least until the end.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's just rubbing them nips.
Yeah, tell it to me, Hamburglar.
That's right. Yeah, that's what he said to me. I'll never forget that. He said, "F you, you fat MFer. Your face looks like Hamburger." How is that even?
You should have said, "Damn, now I'm hungry."
Is it a quarter pounder or like Angus?
I don't know, but like I said, man, I'm not the best fighter in the world. I'm in like short spurts. You know what I mean? I won't run a marathon, but if I can kick your ass in under 60 seconds, I'm gonna win. But if it goes longer than a minute, I'm in trouble.
I think half of that is going to be in the outtake show. All right. Well, I get to follow that now, so
Glad I went.
yeah.
Face looks like Hamburger, man.
So let me tell you about my 5-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah,
All right.
Xavier, my man.
Yeah, 5 years old. A few weeks back, we were having lunch at his favorite place, JJ's, Jimmy John's.
Oh,
We were asking him, son,
lucky.
what do you want to do for your birthday party? And he said, just get the bounce house at home and just kind of hang out in the backyard and have people come over like we've done in the past with kids. Like, all right, well, what do you want to eat? He looks down at his sandwich and says, I want JJ's. And we're just kind of like, okay, no, really, what do you want? And then we're like, wait a minute, they do cater. So we get a little menu there, and sure enough, we the night before his party, we put an order in online, and we had to meet the guy down at the end of the road because they don't deliver to our house. They deliver to the place of business at the end of our road that you can see from our house, but they won't deliver. So I met the delivery guy down there, got 2 giant boxes full of JJ sandwiches, and brought them back. I didn't have to spend all day on the grill cooking stuff, and everyone got the sandwich they wanted, and it was fantastic. So
Yeah, that's nice.
I will highly recommend JJ's for if you have a kids party or like a Super Bowl party or something like that. It was pretty awesome. No cleanup, no mess, just easy peasy.
Just toss it.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it'd be easier than meat pies. You know that thing that y'all do down south.
Yeah.
Now this next piece I have is I'm kind of asking you, but also asking listeners about am I crazy or are we crazy or
Yep.
but
You're crazy.
about towards the end of the first week of school, my daughter's teacher sent out an email saying, "Hey, I'm looking for volunteers on like an hour a day on this day, and this day, and just to come in and make copies or cut things out or do whatever." You know, just
That's
kind
kind of normal.
yeah, right. That is kind of normal. But at the end of cut paper or make copies was work with kids. But didn't really think too much about it. So my wife said, hey, I have an hour on Wednesdays. I can come in and help. And, my daughter would love seeing her mom in the class and stuff like that. So she goes, she gets in there, and she's like, okay, what do you want me to do? She's like, well, there's a desk out in the hall, and there's 2 little baskets, and we're going to have you work with the kids. So you're going to sit here, and each kid has their own folder, and you just do work on the papers that are in that kid's folder. And my wife's like, okay. She's like wondering what it is going to be. And she gets out there, the first girl comes out and opens up the folder, and it's basically like the homework type sheets that my daughter would get last year. So it's basically straight up schoolwork. And my wife is supposed to teach these kids who we're gathering are the kids who are a little bit behind the rest and basically help get them caught up while they're being taken out of the normal class with all the other kids. So my wife's, she's intelligent. She's gone to, she's a nurse by trade and everything like that, but she's not a teacher. And, in her own admission, she might not know the best way to teach, other kids. She does a great job with our kids and their homework and stuff like that, but that's our kids. So she's working with this first girl, and like this girl, what we come to realize, I guess, is this girl has cerebral palsy. So she has to have like the special writing board and stuff like that. So she's like way behind, everything from all the other kids, which I don't have a problem with her being in my daughter's class or anything like that. But at the same time, she clearly needs more assistance or help than what my wife, who's not a trained educator, should be giving. So, and this has happened like 2 weeks now. My wife went back the next week, and again, she had to work with different kids and doing different assignments and stuff. But basically, my wife is going in and teaching kids, which
Your school is short-staffed.
But I get that. I assume that was the case, but I don't know that I want my daughter being taught by some random parent or some random adult. So I think it's for the kids who are more behind. My daughter is not that, so it's not like I'm really worried about that. But at the same time, there was zero screening done on my wife as far as what she is or isn't capable of. They don't know what type of style she teaches.
Have you raised this concern with them?
I haven't, and I think at this point, like I said, my daughter's not being pulled for this, so we're not really concerned. But I guess my question to the school is, how are you allowing this? Because the teachers, I'm sure there's a very big vetting process with teachers and background check and everything else, and yet any old parent who says, yeah, I'll come in for an hour, could have access to any kid in there who's in a hallway. And, how do you know what they say or don't say, or how they treat them, or how, smack on the wrist, or, something like that.
To answer the vetting process, our school does the same thing. However, we have to get like a volunteer badge, and a volunteer badge actually has to go through an application and a background check. And that volunteer badge is good for about 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
Nothing
So
like
that your school must be a little bit more outside of the skirting the rules a little bit. Well, maybe making up different rules. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just neither one of us had heard of it, and my wife doesn't really mind, and
Right.
Obviously, like I said, we're not going to be an issue unless. But again, these are also kids with special needs to some degree.
Right.
I'm not saying that they don't belong in that class, but they definitely have other challenges that don't. So how do they know my wife is even capable of doing that, or any of the other parents that are coming in there? So
I think that's what I know. The way it works here is that the teacher asks for a volunteer to help with various tasks.
right,
And
that's what she was expecting. And like
well,
I said,
that might be her various task.
Well, she's done this twice now, and she's not like the only parent that comes in all day. So maybe all the paper cuttings done by the time she gets in there, or whatever time she gets there. I don't know. I thought it was weird. We both thought it was weird, actually. And like I said, just kind of for you guys, and also for any listeners out there who may know of something or have experience with something like this, like how common is this? Because
I was going to say the volunteer part is pretty common, at least for me. I can speak on it, but I don't know about it sounds like they would be short-staffed, because I know the elementary school that my kids go to, they actually have a couple of teachers on staff for that reason, that are specifically on to help the kids with the
well, and I remember
disability or
when
something.
I was in elementary school, there was a teacher's aide who'd come in for 2-3 hours a day, but it was the same person every day, and she would do the menial type tasks. She wouldn't actually like teach us or anything. She would just kind of help the teacher out and stuff like that. But so yeah, give us some feedback. Let us know, or let me know, I guess. What anyone else has any type of experience with this, or they think it's a little too weird, or if we should be concerned, or what. But last thing I had is the kids start soccer next weekend, or actually they start it this week. I don't know if it's just the sports things in this area or what, but we got an email or a phone call or something a couple days ago saying, because we still don't know who the coaches are. We only know the time range that the games will be on. I think it was Saturdays between the hours of like 1 and 6 at some point. And we still don't know anything. We were just informed a few days ago that we will have one practice at some point next week, and then our first game on Saturday. Now,
I think soccer leagues they don't know much until they get there at all. I think all of them are thrown together like that, because I have the same thing.
Right. Now, and again, both kids, I'm fairly certain they're going to be in like the same age group again like they were last year. So I don't think there's going to be kids in there doing headers and stuff like that. So I know it's not going to be any like seriously organized thing. But at the same time, it's like scheduling would be nice more than, a week ahead of time would be favorable for people who like have jobs and stuff.
Is the organization that you do, is it all
it's the Y.
parent? Okay, is it all parent volunteer for coaches? Is that what it is? Because I know there are some organizations that actually have certified coaches.
I know that parents do it. I'm not going to say they're volunteers, because I'm fairly certain they get paid some small amount, but there's parents doing it, yeah. But, I don't know. So fun updates for the next one.
Well, I was going to say, my daughter, we got into an argument every time trying to get her into soccer because she had practice, and we're like trying to get her to go, and it'd be a fight to get her to go. So she's not going anymore. So she's out of soccer.
Oh,
We
already.
took her out. Yeah. Yeah, she went half the time. She missed because I'm not going to sit there and fight like 2 or 3 times a week and say, hey, get your soccer gear on. No, I know that's standard kid stuff, but I'm just not going to deal with it 2 times.
Were they doing like practice, like drills?
Yeah, they were
and
actually
stuff?
practicing and trying to learn some moves and doing some goals and stuff like that. It was pretty organized. I thought she was doing it, but I'm not going to fight her. I'm just like, all right, you get dressed if you want to go. And she didn't. So we're like, all right, you're out.
All right then.
Yep.
All right, well, let's move on to the ESR Beware. I got no transition into...
I was going to try to make one.
Okay,
but that didn't work.
you do it.
No, I was going to say fighting with my daughter I bet she feels like she's fighting a Titan sometimes.
Okay, let's go with that.
You're fired.
Hey, he didn't have one, so it's better than nothing.
So nothing's better than that.
Wait,
No
I
more
think you just said it was the best. Nothing is better than that. Christian, you were silently volunteered when you weren't on the call that you had to read this week's ESR Beware because you weren't here last week.
Okay. What
So
are we doing here? Attack on Titan. I haven't even heard of this.
Well, sir, you will.
Well, apparently Attack on Titan is an action game based on the story and characters.
No. Go back and do it like a redneck.
Like a red... Hey, man,
Dude, it's
it's
cold.
an action game based on the story and characters of the series Attack on Titan. Players assume the role of a young soldier battling enormous man-eating titans and threaten humanity. Man, as characters fly around battlefields with wire jetpacks, they use swords to cut off titans' limbs, killing them with a slash at the back of the neck. It looked like hamburgers. Battles can be frenetic. Did I say that right?
Yes.
With large splashes of blood appearing kind of like my face after Christian beat the
Sonic boom!
out of me, appearing after limbs are cut off. Finishing blows often result in larger blood splatter effects throughout the... What the hell was that? Man, you crazier than a pet coon, man, making sound effects like that. Throughout the game, Titans are depicted nude I like that, with exposed buttocks. Hey, though they lack discernible genitalia. What's that French? And that's
available
Attack on Titan.
now on Windows PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One for
If I knew anything about this
Discernible.
series, I would probably play this game.
it's a good series actually. If you're into anime and can do the anime where you have to read it because the version on Netflix is not English dubbed.
Is there an English dub out there?
Not an official one that I've seen. Maybe on like one of the Crunchyrolls or some extra services like
I hate
that.
doing that because it's like all this action is going on and they're saying something. You're like, I can't read and enjoy the visuals at the same time.
Yeah, I there's very few of them that I can stand to read, but that one was far and away worth it. So, or just play the game because the game's in English, and from what I understand, it basically tells the whole story too. So.
Yay!
Yatta! So let's move on to game talk.
Can I have a turn?
And
wait a minute.
What?
Today
Uh-huh.
is September 9th.
9/9.
We're recording 9/9, and it's the birthday of the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was launched on 9/9/99. So no day.
No.
And I actually have a story about that if you guys care.
No.
You don't.
Let's hear it. Go on, Dan.
Story about the Dreamcast?
It was about my pre-order of the Sega Dreamcast. So I ordered it at the Funko Land, and I don't know if you guys remember that one. That was okay before Babbage's, and so I was going to the midnight launch, and it was about maybe 2 or 3 miles down the road from where I lived, and I was going to go to the midnight launch, and my wife, my girlfriend, who at the time she's now my wife, was living with me, and I was going to go pick it up, and she's like, no, she didn't want me to get it. She's like, no, you're not going to get it. It's too late to go out. Obviously she didn't want to, didn't want me to go out so late because I had to work the next day, because I think it was on a Thursday or something when it launched. And so she tried to put a rule on. She's like, you're not going to go unless you walk there. And I looked at the time, and it was like 10 o'clock. And I was like, well, I better start walking. So she came with me. So we walked down to this place, and I picked up my Dreamcast, like 3 games, an extra controller. So I had a backpack full of like a crap ton of equipment walking back to the apartment, and through a not so good neighborhood. So my wife was pretty upset with me, even though she wanted to come with me anyway. I don't know. It was one of those attempts that she was trying to control, I think. So, and this was no, that was not it. You want to put, all right, you better start walking with me.
And this is where you got home and didn't realize you needed a memory card?
No, I did remember. No, I got a memory card.
Okay.
No, I don't. I've never made that mistake.
Okay.
But I did get home at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then look at the box and go, yeah, I gotta go to work. So I went straight to bed. So it made me angry. Well, it was maybe like 1:30. So, and I had Soul Calibur, and I wanted to play Soul Calibur so bad.
I envisioned Dan and Alice walking through like this seedy part of town
it
with a
was
backpack full of video games, and then you hear like a voice that goes,
There was a dude that was,
you motherfucker!
You're gonna have to stop that.
What? You love editing.
Huh. Editing, not bleeping.
Oh, okay.
That's not editing. Anyway, with that, I'll go on with what I've been playing then. So, picked up Caladrius Blaze. There's a Japanese game. Of course, it's a shoot 'em up that I've been playing. I ordered it from PlayAsia.
You never play those.
I never do. Never. I hate them. But I have a video of it, and I was trying to plug out the YouTube channel for Dad's Hideout. We do have a YouTube channel for Dad's Hideout, but there's also a Dad's Getting Grounding one. So I've been posting a couple of videos on that. More shoot 'ems. Screwed and trying to whore out Resogun, the trophies on that one, and Skyforce Reloaded, another one, and one of the free games that came out with games with gold is Forza Horizon. Woo, man, I like that game. That game's fun. It was a lot of fun. I like racers. You guys don't like racers?
Nope.
Why not?
Not unless I can shoot stuff.
Well, you can bang people up in this one, and you just have no fun then.
Your face looks like Hamburger.
My voice sounds like Hamburger. Well, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to try and start playing more games with my son, my little shooting buddy, so we're going to play some more shoot 'em ups and stuff. So, yep, that's about it. Quick and easy.
You forgot something.
What did I forget?
That at least 3 of us played.
Oh, yeah, Battlefield. We can all talk about that if you want. Battlefield 1. And I dig it. I didn't dig it when I first started it, and I was kind of mad at it. I thought I was going to rage quit it, just as I rage quit Battlefield 3 when it came out. But I stuck with it and played Conquest and started playing around with the classes. And you do one bayonet charge, and it's like that's your first hit's free. Now you gotta go pay for that one. It gets you hooked right in. Mm-hmm. So a lot of fun with that. I think I do want. I was on the fence about buying it. I do want to buy it now. I just don't know if I'm going to get to buy it. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole deal about that one. So yeah, Battlefield. What'd you guys think?
I enjoyed it as much as I can. That type of game. The last Battlefield game I got into was 4, and really, the only time I played that was with like Damien and other guys from Dad's Hideout and stuff. Like, there's very few times, if any, that I just went on there by myself to just play. I will say that I managed to, because I think if you got to level 15 through the beta, you get something
4 different days.
Yeah.
To do.
Then you get something when the actual game launches, which I managed to do that. Not necessarily because I want whatever that thing is, but just to put out there that as a guy who doesn't like competitive shooters, I played quite a bit of it, and I realized that the reason why I enjoy Battlefield over something like COD or something like that is that you can still contribute without having to get kills, because
I'm helping. going.
Yeah, well, there were a couple games where I finished in the top 10 on my team, which for me is pretty amazing, especially when you're looking at like a 32 versus 32 or something like that.
You feel good about that, then?
I did. I did, actually.
You went to bed happy.
I did. Well, and, you know, again, it's that game mode because you go around and you capture points and stuff. But again, it's, you know, I can finish at 2 and 10 as far as a KD score, but still actually feel like I'm doing something, accomplishing something, and helping the team. So I enjoyed it for that. The horse.
What?
The horse in the game. The horse.
Oh,
you can ride a horse. For those who complained about Roach
How much
in The
does that
Witcher,
horse cost?
you should try that Battlefield 1 horse, because that thing makes Hidalgo, or the Roach, look like Hidalgo, because like if you just need to go in a straight line, that horse is great. But anytime you get anywhere near any type of structure or building or elevation or something like that, the physics of the horse, like they tried to make it realistic for some things, but then other things they just totally had to video game it.
I didn't get on that horse once. The only thing I was just like, leave it alone. The only thing I saw was when Damien and I were playing and somebody flamethrowered a guy that was on the horse, and it looked like a horse and a dude was on fire running away.
I mean,
it was awesome.
It can be fun because if you once Damien showed me how to get the sword out, it can actually be really fun because it's got a really wide like hit radius, and you don't actually have to be all that accurate with it, and the sword does a lot of damage. So if you can kind of cut through a group of guys and just swing a few times, you can get a lot of kills. Or if you just need to get from one end of the map to the other and you don't have a plane or something like that, it's really good for that. But yeah, just make sure you're out in the open because that thing controls terribly. So hopefully they can fix that. I don't know.
Damien, what do you think?
I loved it, man. I had a blast. It did take me a little while to get the hang of it. The assault class, the weapon has a lot of recoil, and
yep,
it took me some time to get used to the classes because, like, assault class, I thought that he was going to be I forget Battlefield 4. I think he's like healing or something.
Support. Was it engineer? Or something?
Engineer, right, was to take out vehicles.
Right.
And the assault class in this was to take out vehicles. So I'm like playing assault, and I'm like, where's again, I forget what I was looking for, but they're like, oh, that's assault class to take out vehicles. I'm like, oh, well then what's the support class? Like, I was looking who had C4. That was it. I was like, who's got the C4? That was something else that stinks is the assault class has dynamite, but dynamite doesn't stick to vehicles. So I went up to tanks and threw dynamite on it, but it just lands like on the ground.
Bounce off.
Yeah, and then the tank just rolls away, and it's like, well, this is stupid. I mean, like, I gotta set dynamite on the ground and then plan where I think he's gonna be in 30 seconds so I can blow it up. I mean, so that was kind of frustrating. But the frustrating makes it fun that it's a different type of game to go back to Battlefield 1, and the vehicles are great. The shovel melee kills are awesome, and yeah, the bayonet is the best. I mean, yeah, that charge is so satisfying, especially if you get somebody like at the end of your charge to where your meter's like about to run out, and you just been running after this guy for the last 10 seconds, just full speed, and then right at that moment you just jab your bayonet into him. Oh, so satisfying.
Did you fly any of the planes?
Oh, geez, those were rough.
I did once. I got into one, and I was just like, okay, how do you fly this thing? And instantly did a nosedive.
Yeah.
Bam! Blew up.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I play with inverted sticks to where, down is up is down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went into the menu, and I had set my controls to be inverted.
Mm-hmm.
But when you invert your flight controls, apparently that makes them regular.
Right.
It's so stupid. So,
I did the exact same thing. Same thing.
So the first thing I got into a plane, which finally one was free because everybody was jumping into those in the beta. When I finally got into a plane, I realized my controls are wrong, and yeah, I hit the side of a cliff like immediately, just crashed into the ground.
I couldn't get over the fact that it was like I was trying to figure out which one was pitch and roll, and I was looking at the sticks, and I'm like, this isn't like a normal kind of.
Oh, Yeah, see that's something I knew from Battlefield 4. I immediately went in and changed my sticks to veteran, which does the whole throttles as your triggers and pitch and yaw.
It puts it into a more kind of video game kind of thing instead of a simulator. Okay.
Yes. So if you do the flight controls, you want to change those to veteran. Same thing with your vehicle. If you change your vehicle controls to veteran, that'll make the triggers, the gas, and the brake.
It was like that when in the car. Anyway,
oh, was it? I
yeah.
thought I had to change them. Okay.
I will recommend to anyone who has any type of motion sickness at all from video games,
third person,
do not get into an airplane as the tail gunner because
oh my god,
I do not get sick in games like ever, and I was because you're flying backwards and then they're going every which way and you can't tell, and then you're trying to steer the turret. Oh man!
And then all of a sudden the dude just turns sideways for no reason.
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh, dude, what are you doing? You're killing me.
Yeah, it was that's rough. So don't ever do that.
I didn't have any problems. I did play tail gunner once. The most frustrating thing to me, it's worse in a plane, but with all the vehicles, is the fact that basically back in this time period, I guess, to make it more accurate, there's gunners and there's drivers. So you got the guy driving, and of course you want to go right, and you can see where you need to go to make this hit to get a clear shot at the target.
And he turns the other way.
Yeah, the pilot driver will do anything but what you need them to do.
He's fighting against you. Anytime you want to shoot, he will move away from that.
Right. And the minute you got somebody lined up, like somebody walks into my sight, but I just fired a shot, so I got to wait for it to reload. I'm like, come on. And I'll pull it on the trigger just as fast as I can. Right. And the minute that it's reloaded and it fires, he like cuts hard to the left and just moves the cannon so that it fires like over the hill or just doesn't hit the person. It's like, oh, what? Like, dude. You just sat there for the last 30 seconds, and now, right when I was able to take a shot, you're going to move. Like, oh, so frustrating.
That's when you get a team doing it.
But
fun.
One
of those big tanks.
Still fun.
Yeah, there was some jank in it, too. I know that it seemed like it was a lot easier to join a game when you were by yourself, and I know that one night there was, 5 or 6 of us in a group, Damien? Yeah. And it seemed like as long as nobody left, it was fine. But then as soon as one person left, then we couldn't connect again, and kind of crazy stuff like that. I saw a lot of weird like physics stuff happening. Like I get there and get
shovels flapping in the breeze.
Yeah, just like things that shouldn't flap that are flapping. And there was one point.
I saw some stuff when I was in a vehicle. It looked like a scarf was just wrapped around in front of me.
Yeah.
In my vision, if I was facing one way, but then if I faced another, it disappeared.
Yeah. But it's a beta.
Right. It's a beta, and
it's always been Battlefields have always been like that. Just remember, it was a Battlefield 2. The tank treads never looked right on the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
I mean, it's 2 months away from being released. It was just a beta, and that was just one map. Now that map was like a sniper's paradise.
Oh my god.
That kind of sucked, but at the same time, it's like, okay, but this is just one map. It's all about the mechanics of the game, and the mechanics of the game for me were just so much fun. I remember I didn't want to get burned out on it, so I actually quit playing. But before I quit playing, I played one game with Hero, and that dude loved to go around with the flamethrower and just set people on fire. And I would just follow him around and watch him setting people on fire. It was great, man. That dude,
and I did appreciate even with the status of the beta that it said right on the title screen, and I think I pointed out to you, Damien, that night.
That was hilarious.
It says this game may not work as expected, or at all. Like they're just straight up saying you might not even get to play this, just so you know. So I at least appreciate that, even though I'm sure there was some tongue-in-cheek humor inferred there. But it's like, oh yeah, okay. So. But yeah, it was a nice, fun experience. I'm kind of like Dan. I'm fairly certain I'm not going to buy it day one, but I think that'll be one of those deals where you'll see it around Black Friday for really cheap. And like you guys mentioned too, Battlefield titles are never good or solid or stable like the first couple weeks anyway. Certainly not the first few days. So even though normally with those online, the multiplayer ones, you want to get in there early, but I think that's one that it's kind of good. Like you're going to be all right several months down the road too. So.
I kind of hope that one has a really good campaign. I don't know what it is, but I think that they could do a really good campaign in World War One. So,
and I was going to add that I hope it has a good campaign, and also I know this was just one map and all, and at the same time though it was just a beta, but beautiful looking game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would just stare up at the sky and look at and do like cloud watching, like in the game,
and
like,
they get bayonet charged.
That looks that looks like a dragon. And all of a sudden I'm dead. Like, oh, it's going black and white.
Bang, I'm dead.
You better be careful, Damien, if you actually enjoy just walking around admiring the beauty of the game.
You better play No Man's Sky.
I mean, what do you do? I mean, but what do you do in Battlefield if you just walk around and look at stuff? I mean,
I tell you what I do is I like to play for 50 hours and then demand a refund and get my money back.
Yeah, exactly.
That was some BS right there.
What have you been playing, Christian?
Well, I've been still playing No Man's Sky. I'm still thoroughly enjoying myself. I am now less than 2,500 light years from the center.
Whoa!
So I'm probably, I don't know, about 150 hours that I've got now.
Like 87 by the time you reach.
No.
Have you run out of names to name things?
No, I mean I did find the planet of hopping monsters the other day.
You found my planet.
I had to spell it, but nonetheless,
it works.
I'm still enjoying it. I mean, they've already stated that they're going to support this game for a long time to come. Mods are just now coming out on PC. So, it's just a great game to relax and enjoy. The game was everything that I wanted it to be, and anything else that'll get added to it is just gravy.
It's at the center of the universe, right?
I do not. I've actually managed to avoid spoilers now.
It's gone home. It's gone home.
No!
Well, you just walked around a lot of stuff. Maybe you can go through this house.
And read these letters from, But no, that's pretty much it. Video game-wise has been No Man's Sky. I did want to mention something. I listened to the podcast 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to comment on Dan playing Journey.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, I
said you like that one.
I picked Journey up myself for like $4 when it was on sale, and
then realized it was going to be free 2 months later.
Well, yeah, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Very rarely do I beat a game and then I immediately go, I want to start playing this again. So,
really?
Yes.
I did not have that thought whatsoever when
I did, because I said, wow, I want to go through this again and see if I can do this different. And, there's that one part when you're underground in the temple and you're watching out for those, the flying snake creatures. And I'm like, man, I want to make it through there without getting hit.
That's about the only thing I'd want to do. But that was like...
And it was just an experience. And it's just one of those games where you can sit down and beat the whole game. And what is it, about
2 hours, 3 hours?
No, it's not 2-3 hours. You can beat the whole game probably in about 90 minutes.
Okay.
From start to finish.
You've run through it a few times. I
have.
Probably know.
Yeah, I have. And I'm just saying, Journey, it's a fun game. Label me, an art blank. But see, I'm thinking of you, Jeremy.
I'm still going to put a bleep over blank.
Okay. But label me an art fool.
There you go.
But I am, I really enjoy Journey for what it is. It's a fun little chill out game. Maybe that's me in my old age. I'm enjoying these chill out games where I'm like, I just want quiet.
Get off my lawn.
Keep it down over there.
That's it. So I guess who's left? That's all I got video game wise.
I have very little, so I'll go next. I'm still working on Fallout 4. I thought I was because I'm trying to mainline the story now, and I got to a point where I was going to, they popped up a message that says, hey, if you do this, you're going to make this other faction mad at you for life. And there's like 2 factions that I want to be on their side. And so I'm like, so I had to back up and find another way to, basically I don't want any synths. I'm a racist against robots. So I got to find a way to end this story without helping anybody who likes synths, if there's a way. So I'm close to one ending, but it's not the one I want. So I got to figure out what's going on. Battlefield 1 beta, we talked about that. I did some game purchasing over the past few weeks, but I haven't actually played any of them. I got Battlefront. That was on sale at Best Buy for $20, so I ended up getting it for $16 with the discount. And based on the Battlefield fun times I had, I figured there's probably enough people still playing Battlefront that I could get in there with some Star Wars fun. Gamefly had a sale on their games. If you've never bought a game from them, I highly recommend it, even though they're technically used games. They basically take the disc out of the package, set the case to the side, and then when you're ready to buy it, they take everything that was in that case and give it to you. So a lot of times you can get like the pre-order bonuses or day one codes or whatever that's in there for free. So I got Street Fighter V, which, I know most of you guys aren't real big fighting game guys, but and I'm not like pro gotta do the whatever the names of the things and count frames of moves, but I like to go in there and hit the high attack buttons and do the special moves, so I picked that up for like $20.
Do you ever have any interest in like King of Fighters? Because I know that one just came out.
Like I've
15, I think
played them. Yeah, I've played those in the past. I don't really have. I didn't play them a lot growing up, so I don't really have like a lot of affection or memories for any of the characters or stuff, but I'm familiar with the series and all that. But between this and the fact that I really haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while, and then I also have Killer Instinct, like this will tide me over. I just know that when Street Fighter V launched earlier this year, it was a hot mess for several months, but they've actually got like a story mode now that you have to download for 9 gigs worth. And stuff. That's the type of stuff I look for in a fighting game. Like, I almost never play one online. That just came today. And then I've had like $60 or $70 worth of Microsoft credit in my account for a year and a half at least. And so I said, all right, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm going to go ahead and pre-order Gears 4. Did the whole Microsoft Store thing so I can have it on PC and Xbox One. And then get whatever pre-order.
Did you get it digital, or are they shipping it to you?
No, you only get it for PC if you do digital.
Ah, okay.
If you do physical, you don't get the PC version too. So I did digital on that. So hopefully it doesn't suck, I guess. I don't know. I don't
think it's going to suck.
No, and really what sold me on it was that footage they released of the new Horde mode, which looks
I didn't see any of that.
They have like classes in it now, which again, for the guy who's not really great at killing things, there's like one role of a guy who just runs around picking stuff up. There's another role of a guy who just kind of stays back and builds up the base. So I feel like I can help with something like that. So and I'm sure you guys are going to be getting it too. So.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be getting that one.
Yeah.
I liked how the bases aren't like established either. There was a lot more freedom to where you want to put the spikes. Mm-hmm. So the demo, they showed how they all met in the map, and they were like, okay, they went and found this room that was closed off from everything pretty much. So then they were like, okay, now we're going to put the spikes here. We're going to put the turret here. Not oh, the map tells you this is where you can have a turret, this is where you can have spikes. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, there's now that really opens up the possibilities to how you play each map. And
things like the scout character, like there's the power-ups or the currency that are on the map, and say if the grunt guy picks it up, he only gets like say 50, but if the scout picks it up, they get twice as much. So it really defines that role of you're not supposed to be going around shooting stuff. You're supposed to be trying to stay alive. And then there's like the sniper guy who's supposed to help keep him alive and stuff like that. So yeah, it looked really interesting. Obviously the story, the Judgment wasn't that great. Who knows what this will be, since we're talking about completely new characters and stuff. But even with that, it was essentially free for me because I've been sitting on that credit forever. And there hasn't really been anything worth spending it on, so I thought,
But Judgment was a completely different studio too.
Yeah,
People Can Fly, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I've been doing some buying and not a lot of playing, but we'll see what happens here in the next few. Because Gears is like a month away now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's October
11th, I think, or something.
We could be playing that for Extra Life.
All right. So what you got, Dom? Ian?
But the only thing I've been playing, I haven't really been playing much of anything aside from Star Wars, but I started playing Dishonored a while back. I had bought the definitive edition, and I was like, you know what? I need to start playing this game because Dishonored 2 is coming out soon, and that's actually on my list to buy. So I remember I enjoyed it on PS3, so I started playing that, and man, that game is very fun, but very, very open world. I mean, there are, it feels like, and maybe there's not, but it just feels like limitless possibilities to how you want to attack each quest and what you want to do. And I feel like I'm missing so much, but at the same time, I'm like, I need to just get through this game. I need to play it and finish it because, like I said, the other one's coming out. So I've been playing that, and it's not disappointed. I mean, it's definitely looking forward to the second one, and I'm playing it as a not killing everybody because they say like that's how you get the good ending, and I think there's an achievement to getting through the game and not killing a single person. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to be good, but at the same time, I'm really looking forward to going back and killing a bunch of people because I have been caught, and when I get caught, I do go ahead and kill a couple of people before I reload my game to start over, and it's just so satisfying, you know? So it's like, man, I really want to come back and play this game and just kill everybody. I just want to murder.
So you can't kill anybody, even your target?
Well, no, you can kill them, but if you do, what it is the plague is going on. So if you kill people, that leaves more bodies out. That attracts the rats. The rats spread the disease to more people. And so you end up with a worse ending. And this is like a well-known fact that they tell you all the time. It creates what they call chaos. So by not killing, there is one achievement for not getting through the game and not killing a single person. And then, of course, you get the better ending, which I don't know. I'm all like, well, what do I care about the ending? But then I remember looking at the ending that like Christian got with The Witcher, and I would have just went into the bathroom and shot myself in the head if I got that ending. So, it's like I don't know how bad the bad ending is for Dishonored. I mean, I know it's a very old game, and I could easily look all that up, but I'm playing the game to experience it myself, so I don't know how bad the bad ending is. But knowing how horrible The Witcher 3, the bad ending is, I'm like, okay, I don't want that ending. I'm going to do what I can to get the good ending, I guess, or as close to it as I can.
I like Dishonored a lot, just a quick aside, but the biggest problem that I had with Dishonored was your character is an assassin, and you are penalized for killing people.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And you know what I hate, again, is how awesome it is to kill people. I mean, you know, all you got to do is when somebody comes at you and swings, you hit R1 to deflect, and then they're stunned. And if you hit that trigger one time, it's no sometimes you get the animation or sometimes you kill them. No, you instantaneously kill them. You just chop their head right off. And it's so awesome. And yet, it's like, yeah, but if you do that, we're going to penalize you. It's like, well, that's stupid.
Guess what? Everybody's getting the disease.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. I don't understand how you're an assassin, and yet they want you to play this game to not kill anybody. I mean, it does make it a lot more challenging, and you have to look for more ways to go about to do things to get out of killing people. But it's still it's a great game, man. I mean, it's wonderfully done.
Did they get rid of that for the sequel?
I haven't read anything about that. I would bet they haven't.
So. You would hope.
I bet they haven't. I bet it's still you can't kill anybody.
You are an all-powerful assassin, but don't do it.
Maybe that's the whole game.
You have morals.
It's called self-control, not Dishonored.
Well, I think it's about making it more difficult because you're this bad assassin, and I think you could easily go in and just kill everybody and just leave no breathing person behind and finish every quest. But it would be a lot harder to sneak around, so they had to do something to make it challenging, I feel like.
Would you compare an assassin who's not supposed to kill to, say, I don't know, putting a boot on your head?
Why would I put a boot on my head? That's so silly.
It doesn't belong.
It doesn't belong on your head.
It doesn't belong on your head. So yeah, see, I did better on that one. We
That's
had
why
no
Dan's fired.
We had no idea. So we are doing a Metacritical this week on Damien's favorite movie, the movie standard that he compares everything else to, we are going to do Snowpiercer.
Yep.
So, Damien, you refuse to read a good review. Is that still the case?
That is correct.
Because what we wanted to do,
I'll read it.
Is we wanted to read the bad reviews as Damien.
Okay. I'll read the good reviews.
Oh, look at you.
The art A.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you want to take the first good one or the second good one there?
Which one? Because
either one.
Oh, okay.
I have the good ones on there. Dan has the bad ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Scroll down.
All right, I got it. No, I just didn't. Usually we do who's reading what. Okay. Yeah, I can do whichever.
Okay. So tell us how much you love Snowpiercer, Damien.
Right. Oh, well, I feel like I should do the second one, so I'm gonna do that one.
Okay.
I give this movie a 10. Surprising and metaphorical. This moves, grabs you, and doesn't let go from start to finish. The sad thing is that people didn't get the story and go as far as to call it non-cynical. Nothing could be further from the truth. Even the crazy premise somehow makes sense in the end, like a choo-choo train that never stops running forever.
No ad-libbing.
Oh, sorry. It is also quite a provocative film. It enlightens and it entertains, proving that the two
separates.
Proving that the two are not mutually exclusive. I highly recommend this movie.
Yes, you do.
It tastes like I just ate a big burger.
Damien, Dan, you got a pretty good Damien. Let's hear.
All right, I'm going to do this one. So I gave it 1. My goodness, how on earth does a movie of this poor calibre rate anything but in the red? I have rarely seen a more pathetic opening sequence. The characters, oh man, there's the worst sort of cardboard caricatures, and the dialogue is unbelievably bad. So stupid. Worst of all, the social allegory that this film... Damien, have you ever said out?
I don't even know what that means.
Hey, man, I never even looked at another dude, all right?
Worst of all, the social allegory that this film has been applauded for does nothing but conjure a sort of innate permanence with a respect to the social class. Did that make sense? Nope. Precisely the sort of realism that maintains the inequalities in this world. It's just so tragic. Oh, golly.
I feel like that guy was using a bunch of big words.
Yeah, that's what it is, and that's why I'm wondering if you ever say permanence.
If you don't suffer from innate permanence, you can shoot your social allegory all over the place.
No, they have pills for it now.
Oh, by the way,
I gotta Google allegory now.
By the way, 2 out of 2 users found this one helpful.
Kill Bill meets Mad Max. Chris Evans traded in Captain America's suit for a more serious, challenging role. The Korean director took the gloves off, hit below the belt, and took many risks, as well as not play it safe, while ignoring Hollywood's versions of making film, which will bring in a different kind of audience who desires something off the wall and un-Hollywood.
It's un-Hollywood.
It's un. The
that was a
9.
9.
Realistic.
9.
Christian, who has probably the best Damien, even better than Damien himself.
Man, totally improbable dystopian tale. My goodness. Good sci-fi must contain probable or least possible technology. Come on, man. This one never explains what powers the engine or how tracks survive decades of high-speed use in Arctic conditions with no maintenance, man.
Preach on, brother.
Of course, a really good story would allow me to forgive magical technology, but this one's a heavy-handed, plotting allegory. There's a word. Allegory of class warfare. The predictable progress from one end of the train to the other is achingly tedious, man. The ending of this scientifically ignorant production is perfect. It shows the majestic maritime polar bear roaming an alpine landscape. Shelley?
Yeah,
Kelly!
7 out of 8 users found this helpful. Where's that one at? Because I want to upvote it. That is so true.
But they explained how they maintained it.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, the end.
What did they say?
The kids run it.
No. They're talking about the tracks. How do the tracks stay maintained? You do
Oh,
realize
the track maintenance. Okay, yeah.
People have to go out and maintain tracks.
Oh
and
no, those tracks are fine for a train to run over once a year. It's totally cool, dude.
Yeah, it's totally cool. The Arctic weather and all freezing.
Yeah,
And they just, glaciers glow over them, and they just
right. That keeps the metal solid. Yeah, absolutely.
What about the gears?
What?
I'll see myself out.
Okay. So let's use that nice segue into the movie and TV talk.
Speaking of gears, there was a lot of gears flying when I watched Battlebots.
Okay, sure. All right. Tell us more.
So I was wrong. I said that Minotaur was gonna win the BattleBots, and he lost. It was sad, but Tombstone ended up winning. So I don't know anybody who watched BattleBots other than me and some people on Twitters. But that was a really good season. I love that show.
You just spoiled it, man. I had it DVR'd.
Oh, well, sorry. You'll forget by the time you go watch it. And so, yeah, I hope they bring it back for another series because I love that show. And then the only other thing I've been watching is Impractical Jokers, which apparently is very popular because now they even came out with Impractical Jokers inside jokes where they do the little, I don't know, the little pop-ups, like pop-up video. That's what I always think of, where they tell you little things about the guys. Yeah, little facts behind the scenes, tidbits of what happened while they were filming it. But I really like that show. If you've never watched that show, you should check it out. It comes on True TV, and it's very, very funny. Those guys are hilarious. And that's it. That's all I've been watching. Not much TV for me.
I don't have a lot either. I'm still watching Mad Men. I'm on season 3 now. I don't think I mentioned this, but or at least this particular thing, but I'm still watching this and just amazed at how people were back then.
It's a show, Jeremy. Not everybody.
No. I mean, like, no, because I could totally see this. So I don't think I said this.
I totally believe this.
Family goes to a picnic in a park. They have, just kind of like paper plates and all that stuff. So the dad stands up. He decides it's time to leave. He's finished chugging his can of beer, whips it out into the woods, tells the kids to get in the car so he can drive them home after he's half drunk. Tells the wife, get our stuff. So she picks up the tablecloth, just like gives it a good flip so that all the trash and everything just kind of goes everywhere. Picks up the basket, picks up the tablecloth, just gets in the car and drives away. And there's just trash everywhere.
Litter!
Everywhere. Right. And it's like, to me, I'm just sitting there like, but then I'm thinking, yeah, it kind of was that way. Because I even remember back when I was a kid, driving home from McDonald's or whatever, it wasn't that big of a deal for my dad or my mom to just roll down the window, throw the bag out the window, and that was the end of it.
That was it. Yeah,
I mean, that's
my car.
Your dad was a jerk.
Again, we're looking at today. Back then, it wasn't that big of a deal. People didn't think that much about it.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Did the Indian guy come out and then a tear roll?
He was
from his eye
Italian,
or something?
first of all. He wasn't really Indian.
Somebody would fuss you if they were in the car next to you and they saw you crumple up your McDonald's bag and throw it onto the passenger side floorboard. They'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Just throw that out your window."
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not going to let that slide, Jeremy. I heard that. He was Italian. Yeah, he was Italian.
He was.
Hey, throw out that McDonald's bag, gringo.
Where did Italian become Mexican?
Exactly. You tell me.
When did Mexican become Indian? Or Native American? Sorry.
I thought you were talking about
still
your
stuck
dad.
in the 50s.
You said your dad was Italian?
No, I said the Indian who cried in the commercial was
talking about
Italian.
your dad. I thought you were talking about your dad. You said, "Well, he was Italian." I'm like,
We
"Yeah,
have-
he was Italian."
We have derailed.
Oh my
Seriously.
goodness.
Just like that choo-choo
Anywho,
train. Toot.
speaking of
Just like the
stupid
Snowpiercer train.
Yeah, speaking
There's
of
no
stupid
maintenance
movies,
on these tracks.
we watched a hot new Netflix release called 13 Cameras. The synopsis basically tells the whole story. Don't waste your time on it. Basically, a creepy guy sets up these hidden cameras in a house and then rents it out to this young couple and masturbates while he watches them live their lives. So,
Oh, they made a documentary on me?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those deals where like the first half of the movie, I'm thinking, okay, there's some setup, right? That like the guy really isn't they're just making it look like that's what he's doing, and then they're just straight up like, no, okay, that's really what. Okay, well, there's gonna be some twist at the end, right? Like it's not just there's that's just basically how that's
it.
Yep, that's it. So don't waste your time on that one. I got in trouble for picking this one with the wife, one that we've seen on Netflix for a while called Housebound. By the description and everything, it was kind of a horror movie, so that's kind of our thing. So we watched it. Didn't realize until we were halfway through, we're like, this is taking some strange turns, that it was actually listed as a comedy/dark comedy. So. Yeah, so it was kind of after like there's a little too much slapstick in this for it to really be scary. So, and it was almost the exact same premise or story as The Boy. So if you've seen The Boy, then don't even bother with this one. I wouldn't bother with it even if you haven't seen The Boy. But Housebound, 13 Cameras, avoid them. Mad Men, just don't litter. That's all I got.
I watched Terminator Genisys. I was flipping through Amazon Prime because I hardly ever get through the Prime one.
Oh, I still want to see that.
It wasn't that bad. They screw with they kind of totally rewrote the timeline in it, which is kind of
because the Terminator timeline's always made so much sense.
Well, I know. Well, you're doing with time, so you time travel, so you can pretty much rewrite it every single time. But anyway, it makes it a little bit interesting. I always liked the Terminator.
How did Arnold look?
Old.
Well, even I mean, it's kind of amazing that he can still play that role to any degree.
Well, you know, once he stopped being governor, he went back to the gym, so he's starting to bump himself back up. So I didn't think he did a bad job. The story was okay. It's an action flick. Anyway, so yeah, I would recommend it if you can watch it on Netflix and have an hour and a half, 2 hours to kill. Finished up Voltron. I don't know if I said that the last time, but I finished up Voltron with the kids. And yeah, you were right. Boy, man, that leaves on one heck of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It's basically, hey, yeah, we got you on the hook for the next season. You're going to wait.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And you're going to wait. You're going to wait. And I started up watching Stranger Things with the wife. Mm-hmm. Only got through the first episode, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. And my wife, she has that rule: if it doesn't have more than like 3 or 4 seasons already out there, she doesn't watch it. So now I started watching this with her, and she's just like, "Well, dang it! Now I'm going to be left with it." And it's only like 8 episodes that thing is.
Yeah.
So
they're filming the second one now, at least. So
yeah, well, they got a hit, so it's pretty good. And then. On a whim, I flipping through movies on Netflix, and I like sci-fi stuff. So this one movie called Infinity, it's an okay sci-fi flick, but it has no idea what it's doing in the movie. It's about a couple of I don't even know what it is. Military guys going into a mining colony somewhere in the space somewhere, but there's some kind of contagion that makes everybody go freaking crazy and stuff.
Is there social allegory to it?
I don't. Well, there's a little bit of a preachy moment at the end, but it was kind of it was all right. It was I'm easy to please when it comes to movies. If stuff blows up or people beating the crap out of each other, it's all right. So I like that violence. I like it. I can watch it. What are you watching, Kristen?
I actually went to the movie theater twice since the last time I was on the show. Yeah. Daughter wanted to go see The Secret Life of Pets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Over Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, over Ghostbusters. Secret Life of Pets. I mean, It's no Alvin and the Chipmunks.
How did you like that sausage scene in there? I laughed my butt off at the sausage scene.
Oh yeah,
When the
yeah,
sausage
it was
factory.
cute, you know. And not Kevin. Is it Kevin James? No, what's that guy's name? It was the bunny.
Oh, God, the leader of the.
Yeah,
He
the
was
leader
so
of the underground.
obnoxious. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was funny. And like I said, you know, will I ever watch it again? Probably not. But, you know, being an animal lover, I thought it was cute. But, you know, that's one that, you know, my daughter enjoyed it, and that's about it. And then the other film that I saw was Sausage Party. Speaking of sausage.
Saw or lived it?
Well, it's... I mean, it was funny. There was definitely several parts where I laughed out loud, and the ending, the last 5 minutes of that movie, like, kind of shocked even me. Like,
I heard about it.
Holy mother!
Yeah, the people on the radio were talking about it, and they said the guy says what the last scene is, and it was just like, oh my gosh. He's like, I was kind of laughing, but then I felt like he said he was like really embarrassed.
Yeah, 2 words: food orgy. That's all I'm gonna.
I don't get it. Is it just like, is this like Team America World Police with the sex scene with the puppets that bad, or is it
even worse?
It's worse than that. Oh my gosh.
Even worse. So, if every incarnation
I don't
that
get
you
it. Does it like a hot dog have a little hot dog?
Just, we'll talk about it later, Dan.
Yeah,
We'll draw you
maybe
pictures.
save that for a spoiler one. But yeah,
Okay.
it was funny. I enjoyed it. You know, I might pick, you know, if it's on sale, you know, once it's in the $5 bin at Walmart, which invariably will be, you know, 6 months after its release, I'll probably grab it. I also watched the Key and Peele movie, Keanu with the kitten. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that.
I've seen the trailers for that, yeah.
It's funny. You know, it feels like a giant Key and Peele skit. I think those guys are hilarious. Several times I laughed out loud. You know, there's a lot of people. I guess the biggest complaint is a lot of people are like, you know, a lot of the racial humor and a lot of use of the N-word over and over again. But, you know, I like Key and Peele because I guess they're not really politically correct. You know, in this day and age, people you don't want to say certain things and you don't want to act certain ways, and it really pushed the rated R like what they did in this film, and I enjoyed it for that. You know, it's almost like people are making movies to shock people anymore, and because everybody's so worried about being politically correct. So I enjoyed Keanu. You know, if you can find it cheap, you know, maybe Redbox it or rent it.
I was
fun.
probably going to Redbox that one. I doubt my wife would want to watch that with me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'd really be up her alley. My wife enjoyed it, but, you know,
Cool.
She enjoys me, so, you know.
Yeah, Sausage Party.
That's it. And the final movie is, or not movie, but the IT Crowd's final episode finally is on Netflix.
What? It never had a final
Wasn't
episode?
it on before?
No. It never had a final. Remember, I talked you guys into watching it. What was it, about 8-9 months ago?
Yeah, I watched it.
Like that. Right. And there was a final episode that they filmed like 2-3 years after the series ended that for whatever reason never was shown here in the U.S. It was in the UK and Australia, like only. Well, Netflix finally got it, and it just updated like a week ago. So if you go to the IT Crowd now on Netflix, there'll be a little symbol there that says new episode. And it's a double episode. It's like 44 minutes long. And it's hilarious. It kind of wraps the series up. It's really an ending, you know, and it puts a little bow on it. And it's really good. It doesn't miss a beat. It picks right up. And again, I'm sad what I said the last time I watched the IT Crowd. I'm sad that there's not any. Oh, excuse me. At Arby's is killing me. I'm sad that there isn't any more episodes. You know, I'd love to see that series come back. But for any of you who enjoy the IT Crowd, there's a 44-minute final episode that is now on Netflix that you can enjoy.
Cool. I will definitely tune into that because I enjoyed that series. Let's go ahead and wrap stuff up. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this is the podcast for Dads Hideout.
Whoa.
Did somebody just have a stroke?
Somebody stroked
Damien,
something.
are you okay?
the online man cave for dads, where we are dads first and everything else second. Just a few quick updates. We are, mentioned last show, we're going to have the meetup on October 29th. We are also, as the four of us together as a group, are doing the Extra Life charity this year rather than doing individual ones. So if you would like to stop by that page, where there's not really a lot there right now, but we're going to be updating things. That's also where we're going to be having our stream for the charity event thing. We're going to do a 4 of us 12 hours on the same day as the meetup. That will be, again, October 29th. We're going to start sometime in the morning, and then right from that, we're going to head out to meet everyone and get wings and all that good stuff. extra-life.com/participant. Oh, sorry, .org
/ just search for
/DGG podcast.
Yep.
We're also part of the Good for Gaming crew, so you can look for them as well. That is headed by RoboPig Dave, who's been a guest on the show and did a lot for that group last year on Extra Life. We still have the Zazzle stuff going on. My wife actually asked me if I could order her some DGG podcast shirts, so I said sure. So
so
that's
she
still
wears
going on.
it, and everybody looks at her and goes, "What the heck is that?"
Yep, and now she has to admit what I do in the basement when she's not at home. To people in public. But yeah, just wait for those sales. That's what I told her. I said, yeah, as soon as the shirts go on sale, you can. So if you do feedback, Dan, do we have anything?
Nope. Nothing new.
Okay, if you want to send us some, podcast at dadshideout.com.
Yeah.
At DGG Podcast on Twitter. On the Facebook, we are Facebook/DGG Pod. Is that how that works?
Yeah, you can search for DGG Podcast, or it's Facebook DGG
Cool.
Podcast.
So that will bring us into part 2 of Christian's tales for us.
Well, since we're already talking about the Dreamcast, it's the Dreamcast birthday. I'll share a story when I was a GameStop manager.
Yeah.
I was there for the Dreamcast launch on 9/9/99.
Thinking.
Had a huge day. I mean, an absolute huge day. It was a very nervous walk to the bank that night. I had my little bank bag, and I had something like $84,000.
And you passed some sketchy looking dude in a backpack with his girlfriend. And your eyes met. It was magic.
Exactly. So, but my Dreamcast story, we had one of the Dreamcast kiosks. You know how if you go into GameStop today, they have an Xbox One and a Wii U and a PS4 standee. Well, there was a Dreamcast store display kiosk that we had, and when we first got it, it had the NFL 2K game in it. And there were a couple of guys who were walking. We had the kiosk literally right there in front of the store to lure people in. These two guys were walking through the mall, They saw it, and one of them exclaimed, "Oh,
Sonic Boom!
Dog, that's that new Madden!" And they ran in. Both of them grabbed a controller. They were playing it. They were hooting and hollering. They were like, "Oh, man, these graphics is off a chain!" And just carrying on and just hooting and hollering for like 20 minutes. It's almost to the point where I might have to go over and go, "Hey, guys, you either need to keep it down or you need to leave." Well, after about 20 minutes of just thoroughly loving this game, and of course anyone within earshot knew that, one of them looked at the side of the kiosk, and down the side, it said Dreamcast, like vertically, and he said, "Oh wait, man, that new Sega system. This sucks," and they walked away. So the ultimate,
totally disregarding the fact that they had a lot of fun with it there.
Exactly. That's the, I guess, the dawn of the fan. I guess it's not really the dawn, but kind of the beginning stages of the fanboys. This was '99, so it was the early days of the internet, and people would pick their systems, whatever's fair. But they were loving the game, saying, "Man, these graphics are awesome. This game is awesome." And then once they saw that it was a Sega Dreamcast, "Oh man, that new Sega. This ain't PS2. This sucks," and walks away. So,
Sony ponies.
Exactly. Sorry, that one's not very titillating. I did have a guy drop a bag of weed in my store one time. That was interesting. This drug dealer came in. Now I'm going to assume he's a drug dealer because he had a giant puffy jacket and he had gold, and his gold teeth had his name engraved on them.
That doesn't mean anything. Come
And
on.
he comes in. He's like, yes, I am. And this guy's like, yo, man, let me get that new PS2. Let me get that Madden. Let me get that NBA. So he rattled off like 3 or 4 games and the memory card and all this stuff. And then, I give him his total. I'm like, sir, your total is like 670, whatever. And he goes, whoop, and pulls out this wad of money that looks like a head of cabbage. like he's carrying like $6,000 with him just in his pocket, and he just starts just dropping money on the counter. And then later that afternoon, we go around the front of the counter and we're picking up and sweeping up, and oh, look, here's a little dime bag of weed just laying here. How lovely. I'm sure it didn't fall out of the pocket of the man with $6,000 that he paid with his PlayStation with.
So, did you keep the weed?
No, Dan, we did not.
We threw it away and alerted the authorities.
Absolutely, we did.
All right. Well, better late than never. Thanks for showing up, gents. I think we'll probably put a nail in this one and call it an evening. And we'll probably see everyone in a few weeks. Unless I feel like I'm forgetting something. Basically, is what's going on here. Is there anything else?
No? I don't think we're... Oh, wait a minute. This comes out on September 11th.
Yeah?
Yeah. We'll never forget. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. You just let the terrorist win.
I did.
At least Matt didn't let him win.
Huh? What did he just say? I didn't hear.
I said at least Matt didn't let him win.
Oh, okay.
Matt destroyed the terrorists.
Right.
Matt doesn't like ISIS. He said down with ISIS, and he bought a bike.
I'm leaving all that in, and our faithful listeners will know what he's talking about, and those who aren't faithful listeners and Dan will just wonder and have to go back and re-listen.
Yeah, I'll have that. No, I just forget about it.
So, all right, well, we will see everyone in a few weeks.
They don't pick this time of the day to spring unpleasant surprises on them.
I am your father.
If they have disagreeable views, they'll postpone the discussion until another time.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I got to splice around Damien's farts, so...
And all those...
You're welcome.
Yeah, I need to listen to that beginning part, I guess, if you're going to leave that in there. What? Was that real?
That was real, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, my God.
I was holding that one in the whole show.
Why? That would have made it so much better.
Every time it would come out, I was like, y'all were talking. I was like, oh, I can't do it right now. You're in the middle of telling their stories and stuff.
Whatever you ate for dinner today, you have to eat every other Friday from now on.
I think Damien should fart whenever he can. We're telling some kind of heartfelt story. I can be like, well, we took my daughter to the hospital this weekend.